Yippee! Okay, whoa. Okay, give us a second. Let's just, I don't know what I'm doing. Is this the right link? That's not right. Okay. I'm struggling. Okay. Beep. Okay, I'll just do it here. I'm struggling a little bit. I'm trying to just get the link. Oh well, I'll just do it on my tablet. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, that works. Wait. This is why I unlist the streams before I start. I'm struggling. Okay. I'm just sending links of the stream. Okay. That works. Okay. 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 That should work. Yippee. Alright. Just gonna... Hopefully it's not too quiet. So we're just gonna... We're dealing with rainstorms lately. The internet may not be the best. So this is more of a chill stream. So just gonna clean up some pages. Whoa. Okay. Hang pressure. Something strange with my pen pressure. Or maybe my hand is different. Maybe it's my hand. Haven't done digital art in a little while. We recently picked up using a dip pen, so that might have caused things. Oh no, my drawing style is different! Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So these pages are more, a lot less cleaned up. Oh yeah, my art style is very different from the rest of these guys. Okay. So honestly, even though this section should be one of the prettier ones, it hasn't really been cleaned up all that much. This comic released incomplete visually, but is technically completed story-wise. Because if we didn't, if we had to make everything all cleaned up, then we probably would have never released it at all. So yeah, it's not the pen pressure, it's just my hand. I hold the pen different. Okay, it's a lot more consistent. So yeah, just not really thinking too much, it's just just spending just chilling and not thinking too much, just I'm just kind of doing this. I guess drawing on the computer isn't bad. Drawing with a dip pen is a lot different. Because with a dip pen, you don't have to put pressure at all. It's pretty much like using a ballpoint pen, but the ink is super smooth. We have used a oh my brain. We have used a fountain pen before, but it's not our taste. We prefer a dip pen. Is because like the one we have, the cartridge size is really small, and we don't like replacing it. And dip pen's cool. Because another part of this we wanted to fix was the umbrella size, because this is supposed to be really tiny. Oh. How small? Me. This small. Okay. I'll put that there. Wowza. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot tinier. Oh yeah. This has been bothering us for so long because we drew the umbrellas at like a normal size, but it's supposed to be teeny tiny. Oh. And this section is going to be more rougher drawn. This is not. Oof. Straight lines. Wow. Okay, high accuracy? I don't want to do clear edges, hard edges, clear edges. I think that's closer. Icky. The small. Okay. So the thing that we've done with the character designs, that we really noticed when we're updating this sketch to the final, like a cleanup artwork, is that, we remove their necks, to give a more sprite-like, simple quality to it, and, well, it makes them squishy. Squish. This doesn't feel right. I think it's because of how barren because there isn't anything in this part. there's no background features, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, there's no background features in this section, so yeah, the background is just gonna be empty, so I won't have anything to fill the space, so I'm gonna have to play with that. Oh. Puppy. Should probably be a little down like that, because I don't want them to be more, I don't want them to be centered, because it's easy to do, like, when it's only just the characters and not really any background details. You just, like, have them in the center of the frame, but if you do that too much, it may feel a little unnatural. Hopefully I'm getting the characterization right. I probably should have reread a bit before tackling this, but let's see. I want them to, like, come into frame like that. The guppy. Puppy. Hopefully the music isn't too quiet. I'm just gonna pop. Yeah, my hand feels really different compared to everyone else. Okay. That's fine. I just need to remember how they did it. These characters have very round and simple feeling. Like, even Chara here is pretty, like, even though it's, like, more sharper at the edges, they're still pretty round, all things considered. They're squishy. I need to zoom these out more, because, when you, like, zoom out, your, especially characters more, you'll find that, like, you'll have a lot more space to work with, which sounds pretty obvious, but when you're drawing, especially, like, on a large page and you feel you want to draw the characters larger so they're more clear, you might draw them too large compared to the actual panel ratio like more larger than you need to, and it can be harder to fit in like bubbles or background elements, or feeling like it's too zoomed in so that you're pretty much just seeing their face and not like grounded, because it kind of have to think of it like cinematography. Like, even though like the focus is often on their face, it's not. Oh, this is loud. It's not always like clearly like enlarged face. You want like a fun ratio that matches what you're trying to go for. So like, because this section does not have any background elements and just a big old gradient, instead of, what I'm trying to do is, instead of filling the space with the characters, I want a more empty space, so that it feels more empty, like plays with that empty element instead of trying to hide it. I don't want them to move too much, because compared to comics versus usual illustration, at least what we're trying to do is more compared to like film or animation. So because comics are really more pretty much making a storyboard, but the frames are different, like the panels are different sizes and placed in fun ways. So I think that'll also help if anyone has like hard time figuring out how to think of movement with your comic. Because if you think of it as you're making an animatic, you're making a storyboard, it can really help a lot. Because I'm recalling how, like, back then, our biggest trouble with making a comic was, like, how many panels do we need to show movement? Like, do we need to, like, show, like, a turnaround or doing a specific action? Like, how many panels would that need? And we've never seen a video or anyone really cover that idea. But we've always been an animator, and so learning that, oh, it's just like if you're making an animatic video through like music or something, like it's keyframes and those movements. So thinking it that way helps. Another reason why we're also making these characters a tad larger than we probably would is because the page size is actually pretty small. This is actually compared to, like, sized up to actual physical paper. This is half a letter, which is half, like, printer paper, American printer paper cut in half, which is like for like, it's like, so like a single page like this is like 4.25 by 5.5 inches. So like 4 inches and 5 inches. It's pretty tiny. It's 1/3 the size of an average graphic novel page. Teeny tiny. So we don't want to, but it still works if you draw tinier. So I'm trying to make it so that Chara here doesn't actually move too much. So they're just sort of glancing over their shoulder, but not like fully moving their head. It's kind of more stiff. think that's what we were wanting to do. Let's see. Fortunately, this is kind of hard to work with when all we have is these funny sketches. I really love this expression here because it kind of looks like they're trying not to smile, so they're just kind of frowning. I really like this comic because there's a lot of quiet moments and not a lot of strong emotions. Because emotional doesn't mean like showing very strong emotions. Emotional can be more subtle. So this entire comic is more subtle with how it expresses things. Maybe not this scene, because pretty much Chara just directly gets mad, but majority of this comic is pretty subtle. There's like, like not many outbursts or screaming or crying or a lot of that such, which is pretty different from our the pre-boot. The pre-boot was pretty loud, and we didn't like that. Oh gosh, how do I do this? Whoa. Okay, this... I need to fix the eyes. So, yeah, this comic doesn't really have many words. We actually made a transcript, so like transcribe the entire comic into a document, and this entire comic is like 3,000 words, which is less than majority of fanfiction. Even though this thing is like almost 200 pages, which is pretty cool. But it was intentionally made that way. Let's see. Whoa. So we tend to like now we really like to work with quiet moments and such, because this comic is a lot more visual based. So like if you try to experience the comic with just the text alone, like only looking at speech bubbles, you're not going to get the full experience or even all of like the information or what you're trying, like full enjoyment and such like that. Because when you're making a comic, it's easy to forget that like it's also a visual medium and not just not just there to like show context for the dialogue and the text. Having like this is just for us, but we personally feel what makes a comic really good is if you can make a comic that requires both the reading and paying attention to the art itself. So not making it so that you won't get the entire story from looking at the dialogue. So that you're using both parts of the medium. Which is harder in practice, and is also why we personally don't script the comic, our comics. Because we try to script our comics in like writing format, but personally it did not work for us because it becomes more heavily focused on writing, because there's no visuals to go with it. So I often find that when we're writing, like we're trying to write up a script or even an idea, it becomes really wordy and something that could be like more expressed in visuals instead of dialogue, which is pretty much majority of what text of a comic would be. So, when we made, is these colors right? It is. Okay. When we planned our comic, we actually, we planned it by, drawing direct, like, on the page itself, and doing the script by doodling the ideas instead of we really write when it when we just don't have like access to drawing stuff, or like want to note it down for later. It's not like a finalized reference kind of deal. Yippee. Okay. The guppy. Oh my god, I can make it droop down. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's funny. Because these horns are actually leaves, so just having them flop around a little. Puppy. Puppy. Whoopee. Okay. Wow, 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 wow. I can really tell we barely spent any time on these sketches. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, well, well. I realize I'm going really off model. Oops. Okay. Okay. The doggy. The doggy. Oh no, how am I gonna do this hand? How am I gonna do their hand? Oh. I think... I'll figure it out. I think I can just have it. Oh, right, because they're transparent. Oh, transgender. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. I just have to... Okay. I'll put this here. Yeah, this umbrella's a little big. Let me... It's supposed to be about that small. Think about that size. I actually don't think this size would make your horn leaves flop down. That is so silly. Oh, I can make it only flop down one side. Umbrella. Oh, it's tilted. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. That looks so silly. Umbrella. You know, I'll keep it like that. I don't know if this perspective is even right at all. It's probably not. Ooh. Okay. I need a break. Okay. Boop. Oh no. I need to move that. I can move it down here. Okay, close enough. Yeah. Okay. Just gonna take a quick break. And feel free to ask any questions, or we also really want to do like things about character designs of like the trio here. So oh, I should so like if like we want to really do like a video or some about the trio's character design, and like possibly as well as like how they're written. So if anyone has questions about that, you can totally ask, cause yeah. Okay. 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 Back to drawing. Yeah, this is a really weird angle for this umbrella. I got to... But I do really like this funky... Funky... Yeah. Oh, hello. I'm doing good. Let's see. Yeah, this hand is gonna be a weird. I think they'll hold it like. Okay. Okay, that works. So, advertising is not allowed. Okay, I'm getting a hang of this. Yippee! I think this will look a lot better once we clean up the colors as well. Because an issue with doing white line art is that because you're not normally used to seeing like white outlines or like normal characters, it can easily look kind of muddy. And with our art process, we like to do the coloring and the line art, which is pretty much just a sketch. We do both the sketch and not sketch. We do both the line art and the coloring at the same time. So because when you're doing the like filling in and such while you're doing the line art, it makes, like, it gives you a better idea of the actual silhouette, because sometimes you're like, you can be drawing a character and it looks nice, but when you fill it in, it can actually look strange with how it actually is shaped in reality. Or maybe you might come across an instance where you're not sure how to exactly do something. So like if like a strange body shape and you're not exactly sure how like to make it, so you can do it with the coloring and then do the line art. So you're pretty much doing, you can do both at the same time. It's not, you don't have to treat it as two very separate things. For us, it's a lot easier to do, and just, it makes the artwork more clear, and it's more faster and easier. I think I have to separate this, because they kind of just meld together right there, which doesn't look the best. It's kind of hard to see. Okay. Unfortunately, this part's a little hard to do, especially with trying to use white line art. Yeah, it's a little. Okay, maybe I can change the hand angle. I think that can. I can make it look more straight, so it's more clear. There you go. Cause like even though Chara right here is pretty spiky, they're it's not they're not a spike ball. They're more, they have like a swish to them. It's like, how do I explain it? More uniform. And it's really like the head area. And it's pretty different than their pre-boot design that was more all in on the spikiness. Here, let me grab one. Whoop. Let me grab their old design real quick. Oh, it's not. It's not on here. Let me. Oh no.
You want to eat? Huh?
Cool. Whoa. So to like compare their character, their pre-boot design, they were a lot more in on the spikiness, because it was more, this is specifically like, screams more, this is a character design, while, the reboot redesign, is more, compact and simple. Like condensing all that spikiness down to just a head and more consistent, more straight lines and such. And another reason why we really simplified and condensed it down is like, not only for like actual, like, so it feels more like a sprite, so that it's more easier to keep consistent and more clear when far away. Fortunately, I'm not really succeeding in the consistency aspect right now, but that's fine. Yeah, I think this will look a lot better when I do more consistent, clean shapes. Yeah, okay. Let's move. Okay, I think I found my footing. Ba, ba, ba. think what's best for this specific section is doing more clear shape while still keeping its sketchiness. Because if it's too messy with this white line art, it becomes really hard to read. So I'm gonna try to use more shapey. I'm not working on the right page currently. Usually we would work on both pages at the same time, but I'm not really feeling it. Unfortunately, how I did this, the colors are not gonna overlap. Because with this section, we're still more iffy, experimental with it, because we honestly haven't really worked with this section all that much, this orange rain section. And I think it actually would benefit a lot if we mess with silhouettes. I'm realizing, because of like the white border, so things can blend in more and all that. Yeah, I think this would make this section a lot more nicer to read and more interesting to look at. This section is also kind of weird to draw eyes with, because the line art is white, it actually becomes brighter. The line art becomes brighter than the eye color, which should be, the eye color should be lighter than the line art, but because now it's the opposite, it kind of looks a little strange. So I'm kind of having to mess around with that. So normally Chara's eyes are just a circle, but because of how this works, if we just made their eyes circles, the coloring of it circles, it'll just kind of look really weird. So in this section, we're doing more like, the colors are more squished, so to give them more shape and not look like just a dot floating in there. But it still gives the same, similar effect. This stream we're not gonna clean up too much. We're just gonna chill. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more fun to think of this more as like playing with shapes and silhouette instead of just white line art. Okay. I really like this bottom panel now, and how Kris's arm actually kind of comes out the border. it didn't feel like we spent too much on this, but I feel it did improve a lot. Oh, I forgot their horns. This perspective is a little weird. Aww. From this angle, it looks like you would go in front of the horns. But yeah, I would go in front of the horns. Yeah, that is a big improvement. Sadly, I don't think I can include the yellow, or like the overlay color there, because of how that happened is because the hand would have been below there, but now it's more offset. And I do like it offset here because it means the motion is more clear. Let's see. We can do the other page a little bit. Ooh, I actually do like that their horns are a little transparent. I can play with that. So, because this whole section, it should have a lot more big blocks of white, having the horns be more translucent, like line art, it feels... I think it'll break it up a little more. Give more interest. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that works. I love that. I like that. I like that. I think I might want to move the horn a little back. Like that. Oh yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Yeah, giving that more contrast. Okay. like that this has a more illustrative quality to it. It feels different than the rest of the comic, well, like the blue section. Because we do want this section to feel more different and more messy. I think it works. Now this side. Probably won't spend too much on this. Yeah. The sketch is very rough. You can tell this sketch is pretty old because it has the old Chara horns. The ones that look like wings. Not sure what kind of expression. Okay, I think I have an idea. I can have Frisk there kind of like freeze frame. Freeze frame, just hand in the air. Like that. Unfortunately, the bubble placement is kind of not the best, but it's a little hard to do bubble placement when you don't really have much to go off of when your art. Blah. I want to move this down. Oop. Oh, and I can have their horn, like, frame this side. There we go. I'm not a big fan of this right page layout. I like the movement, but it's like the character sizing and placement. Because it feels pretty flat. Even though there's, of course, not many landmarks, it's the, like, actual placement, like, so, like, if you look at the left page with these adjustments compared to over here with the old sketch, you can see how with, like, on the sketch page on the left here, like, there's very little gap at the top, and, like, how much space the character takes up is really uniform. Here. So, like, I'm not sure if that contrasts, so, like, just taking up that much space, and then that much space, and then this much, it's kind of, this version, it's a lot more uniform, and I'm not a really big fan of that, because it feels not as interesting to read. While, here, what's different with this version is that, I don't really, I guess I can count it at here, but then down here, let me, and then it takes up this similar space again to the, that. So how I want to, like, think about it is, like, even though this is still consistent, it's more variety. So, like, the panels are supposed to have that same feeling, similar feeling. They take up that similar space. While it's different with this one, where it's just kind of the same throughout. And there's that same feeling on this page. It feels like the space is not considered, which is understandable because it is this very, very rough sketch. So I want this to more feel like this, the middle panels of the left page. So moving them more down and more zoomed out. So Chara should be tinier. Tiny. I also don't mind that Kris's dialogue here is covering up their body, because I actually kind of like that. So like you can see like there's that very like now more zoomed out and that same empty space at the top, while like with these ones right here, they're more zoomed in and take up more of the more middle section. And so while working on the comic, we really want to think about how enjoyable and easy it would be to read it. So it's not just how pretty or how rendered you can make the artwork. I feel what's more important than rendering your artwork is telling if or making sure your comic is easier to follow and enjoyable to read, which is very subjective, but it can be like clarity or interesting looking panels or poses or how things are done. Like with here, like Kris's arm coming out of the border, that's interesting, and Chara just kind of looking away and more zoomed out, and then this expression, like that's fun and interesting. So despite not having a background and technically very simple, there's a lot of little details that's not specifically telling, like screaming at you saying, hey, look at me. It's more subtle and rewards the reader for paying attention or looking at the page for like giving time to each page, because earlier in the stream we talked about how we personally feel a good comic would not put all their information in their dialogue, because it's comics are both a visual and a writing medium. So utilizing both, where you have to pay attention to both things to fully understand the story, is to us very important, which it's different for every other comic. Majority of comics you should be able to understand with just the text, because well, you tell stories through the dialogue and all that, but an issue that you can come across is, which you can't really avoid unless you really change your foundation, is when it doesn't really matter how much you clean up your art or render it or how beautiful it is, if the only important information is the dialogue and the text bubbles, then you're only, like, if you're reading it, you're just going to look at text bubble, just zipping through and then flip the page and then zipping through all the dialogue. Not only is it like, I feel like, at least for us, you want to read at a specific fast pace so it feels like a natural time passing. But another thing is just, if you understand or like pretty much have, like, even if unintentional, if the story expresses itself as you can just read the dialogue and only glance at the images, then you're not going to give it that time, because that means the art is technically not that important to understand the story, which sometimes is good, but are like fine for what you're going for, but if you're trying to do something else with your story, like if you want it to be more like visual storytelling, or you want the reader to pay attention to your art, it's good to keep that in mind. and it's something that you can't really gauge, especially as you can't force a reader to slow down or take their time, or and you also can't force a reader to speed up either. So there's, of course, some people who will read more slow and take in the art. There's it's just a bunch of things that I feel is important to remember, because the thing with comics that I feel oh, this map is gonna be hard. Give me a second. Okay. Close enough, for now. Oh no, I forgot my train of thought. Oh, crud. Oh, right, I just remembered. Yay. So, a very, important aspects of comics that, can easily be not as, thing that you would really think about is, comics are specifically a medium where, you don't, time in a comic is very subjective with, at least how it reads. Because you can stay on a single page for as long as you want. It's not like an animation or movie where technically you're supposed to just let it play. Of course you can pause a video or an animation, but that's not part of the experience. That's more of a thing outside the story, like a convenience. The actual experiencing the story, you're supposed to let it play out, and it's really different for a lot of mediums. So for reading a story, the text is always there, and you only go to the next scene or something when you actually read it. And with games, it's more flexible. Some of them, they only continue when you, press A, or some of them are automatic, or time-based, or all of them combined. But with reading a comic, you go to the next page when the reader themselves choose to do that. And you can take advantage of that. Sometimes you want if you want incentive to make the reader pause, or more meta narrative such. Unfortunately, I need to move this text more down because of the way this is working. how about... over here? So, when making comic, you can think about if you want the reader to pay attention to your art, you could give some incentives. Of course, it's not necessary, but it could, of course, be like things like, more, I did that in the wrong layer. Okay, that's fine. I shall want this. So, a simpler idea with, like, incentive is, of course, making your artwork really pretty, or interesting to look at, which doesn't always work, but if you want the reader to take their time or take it all in, you can think of that. Another is, with this comic, there's more, how do I explain it? It shows subtle things that is very easy to miss, especially if you're reading the comic really fast. And then it shows something that, like, oh, it was actually there the whole time and I just didn't notice, but I kind of, like, but you could have probably skimmed over it and, like, oh, that was important. So then that clues in the reader that they should pay attention or try to look at the tiny details. And that could help, with making the reader take their time or look at the artwork more. If you really want the reader to look at the art. There's a lot of things. But I want this to be their other arm. There we go. Silly. Yeah, I'm not sure about this bow placement. Because it worked fine when it was a sketch, but now that it's being cleaned up, it doesn't work too well. How about if we move this to the left? Like that. Bop, 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 bop. The issue with this is that Chara's dialogue is just floating, so there's no bubble to like draw attention to it, so it can kind of get lost. That is harder to read. So that's the issue of Chara's dialogue. It's just kind of, it blends in with the background. Oh gosh. I'll fix up the dialogue boxes once I clean up the artwork, because I'm not exactly sure how to place it. Because it really is reliant on the actual artwork itself. Because an issue is that, like, while reading this, I accidentally skip over the text up there, because this right here follows the hand motion, so I kind of follow that first, like here, but you're supposed to read this first. I think what we could do is make this text larger. Look, B. Okay, that works. So this should catch your attention more. Okay, that works. Because an issue with the sketch is, like I said earlier, it feels really flat compared to this cleaned up version on the left. But it'll get better once I adjust the placement. And then there should be more room once I do that. So more room for dialogue and stuff. I want this to feel between, like, these two layouts. The composition, yeah, that's the word. Composition. It's like this is more zoomed out, and then it's more zoomed in the middle. And this is like also a combination, but I need to think of shapes. They're shapy. Okay. Yeah, they have no reason to be that high up. I'm gonna move these down. Because I feel a thing that can help with panels or compositions feeling flat, especially if it's like you're trying to show like their body. You shouldn't be afraid to have their extra part of their body being off the page or off the panel, because it more, I have to color this in to make it more clear, but let me get this first. This right here is the lasso fill tool, which is very nice for quick coloring. So like here on the middle panel of the right page, and like especially right here, to prevent it from feeling more flat, you can have more of a character below, So it implies that there's more character, more of them actually there, instead of trying to squish it all into the box. So like including like right here, you can kind of imagine like the rest of the body is in there, but it's kind of just cut off by like a picture frame. So like sometimes you don't need to show the entire body, or it actually benefits from not showing the entire thing. It really depends on your context. Yeah, I like Chara's pose right here. I'm not sure about this panel though. I do like this though, because it's like a more smooth transition to like them like looking over and like showing this extra part with Kris right here. I think I can do a fun, like, them looking over, but instead of, like, looking over to the side, it can, like, sort of, like, raise their head, like, looking over at someone. Because, like, they're kind of behind them like that, and I think that'll... That's so silly. Yeah, that works. But I'm not sure about how to pose Kris right here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this, like, this worked for the sketch, but I'm not sure, I don't think it's reading too well. Maybe... just experimenting. Because I do want this to peek over the panel, so then you, like, look at it. Because I also want to think of, like, the reading line. So, like, when you read something, your the bubble path, how you lay out your bubbles becomes your comic's camera, because that's what you look at first. So you see, like, a movement, and you see things as you go. So the placement of your dialogue is really important. And this is also why you should plan your dialogue at the same time as you draw. Because, like, when you draw something, it can feel really easy. Like, if you do the dialogue last, it kind of feels like that you have to tack on the dialogue, or there's just not enough space. So there's, like, a rain over here. I think I can move this. I need to tag this. Rain. Oh, line. Okay, I can move this near the head so you actually see it. See their face, like, because like before, if it was like this, your eyes are up here, their face is down here, so you don't really see it. It feels like you're looking at the sky, but if I move it around here, it transitions to like you see their face. I'm trying to lay this out. Because when you read a panel, you're supposed to read it from up to down and left to right. So the priority is usually the height of where you're placing it. So, of course you can break it, but you just want to keep it more clear and, because I do like the idea of guiding the eye back here and into the legs, and then so it moves back. So it's positioned like that. So it follows that movement. But I just need to figure out how to align the dialogue. I don't think it's too bad. Unfortunately, the boxes still take up a lot of space. I need to figure something out, these dialogue boxes, because we still haven't actually figured out a full design idea for them, honestly. Yeah, it's really butted up there, but I think I can separate it. Maybe. Maybe that'll work. Trial and error. Trial and error. That's a different color. That is not that color. It's this color. I think I can separate that into a different, so it's like a step design. Yeah, that can work. I think another issue is that I need to clean up Kris. guess I don't need it that far. I guess I can have it all over here. Boop. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. So the dialogue here is done differently than the other parts of, well, the blue sky section, because with that it was done like this, where they had clean bubbles. While this one we're still messing around with the designs of the bubbles, but we're wanting to make it look more messy and hand drawn instead of fully clean shapes. But it looks a little but we'll figure something out. The reason for this major change in even including the the line art color, the bubbles, is we wanted to give the feeling of progression, because this is just our thing or feeling that we often get is even if the plot itself or even the characters are progressing, if the visuals of the comic don't really change if the visuals of the comic don't really change, not art style wise, but how everything is actually constructed, a simple example is a color palette, or how things are the compositions and the panels and such. If they all feel very similar, there's no scene change, there's no scene changes or perspective, camera perspective or such like that, it can feel like the comic or story is not progressing because it's not visually changing, even if the story technically is with the plot. So this here is to make it feel we're in a new part and area, and it also makes this more oh, this would not be red. Yeah. What the heck? Oh, that's the panels. So this would also make, for us, we're also doing it so it's more memorable, and just a new change of pace, and just a little extra surprise to see a more major visual change. So if you see just a single part of this area, you'll know it's from this chapter. It doesn't need to be this dramatic, but you can do something like that, showing change in progression through the visuals. I need to update how I did the rain. Oh yeah. It was like this. Is there water back here? What do we have? I don't think there was water in this scene. Yeah, I don't think there was water. Okay. So it's just gonna be flat. You're just walking in the void. Okay, this color. Yeah, this comic doesn't really have much to do with the backgrounds. It's more, they're literally in some sky place. But, it is fun to do this. Oh yeah, the thing we changed here is that we made the gradient more dramatic so it looks more misty. Because we were more subtle with it in the previous on the sketches, but then we moved the gradient down and it looked a lot better. Was it combined? Because some of these pages we combined the gradient so that it's just one gradient on all of the panels, which even though it doesn't technically make sense, like even though it doesn't technically make sense, it can look really nice. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna move the gradient. Let's do that. Oh, that's the wrong orange. That's the wrong color. Oh. That color is different. Oh boy. I haven't touched the files in so long. It's so similar to this one. Hold on. I don't know. Yeah, this is supposed to be shading, that's lighting, that's... Okay, yeah, that is a that's weird. Okay. I'll just keep the background as is. I don't have this background in our swatches. That's fine. I can just use the transparent color. Because if you use this on Clip Studio Paint, it makes your brush or whatever you're using act as an eraser, which is really useful. So that's what I'm doing here. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. I have to use... Okay, I have to use the... panel borders. Okay. Sometimes when you're like stuck on your artwork, it could help to fix up or like do like an idea of a background so you can fit your characters in. So that's kind of what I'm doing right here. Oh, that looks nice. Okay. It's really foggy, and I like that. What color did I use over? What colors did we use here? Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this color. Wow, that is blue. Okay. That's blue. It's a little too... I have to make it more true blue. That's a little too bright. Too dark. And that's why my color wheel's really big. Okay. Okay, that really helps it. Okay, that looks a lot better. To compare, this is what it used to look like. Zoop. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, so I feel it's still a little too blue. I have to find that sweet spot. Because you can't really use absolute blue, because if you do, a lighter version of true blue will look purple. So you kind of have to add in a little bit of cyan so that a lighter version of blue would actually look blue and not purple. Ooh. Okay, I think that works. Just have to make it... Okay. Yeah, so you can see that. That really changes the feeling. A lot more foggy. Alright, so I should adjust left page. So another reason why I'm doing this is so that like some panels there, like technically this wouldn't make sense. Like this would actually have orange there, but to give like more we like doing I wouldn't, dynamic background is not the technical term, but like backgrounds that more changes depending on the characters or what's happening in the story, or like it gives a better feeling. So instead of technically being correct, it's more what the scene needs. So some of them, like right here, this one is fully gray, while this one is a continuation of that gradient, but more half, which is how it should be. And then here. It's gonna be its own gradient. Oh. Let's see how that looks. Did I move something? Guess not. Oh yeah, that feels a lot nicer. This is probably a little too low. Oh yeah, I love that subtle blue. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, it's been 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream really soon. Boop. I did not make a new sign, it's just moved. But, yeah. I should probably wrap this up. This is not the final product. Normally with streams we want to do it all in one go with cleaning it up, but this is more just chilling, having fun. Especially because it's been raining here, so we weren't actually sure about the connection. So it's just I just realized it's kind of fitting I'm working on this specific scene because it's about rain. Let's see. I'm not sure how we should pose Kris here. Let's see. I do want their eyes visible. Oopie. Yep. Oh. About to say if I drew that on the wrong layer. Oh. Kris appearing out of nowhere. Oh, I like that. I didn't realize, because of the placement, I don't know how to explain this. So, because of the movement here, and because the umbrella is the same color as Kris, because Chara moves their umbrella downwards, and then Kris just takes up that spot with the same color. So, even though it's not, technically you don't see anything happening because it's just two panels, no animation. It kind of feels like Kris appears there from the umbrella. Because of that, like, movement, it kind of feels like they're being revealed. Let me... Oh, that's the reading line. Oh, it updated. So, a reading line is like this now. But, I'm trying to get across here is, like, the umbrella, like, moves this way. So, and then Kris just kind of appears there. I didn't realize that it looks like that. That's really cool. I figure out how to do their eyes. Swooshy. Okay. And the reason why I have, like, their hand up right here, because it's like, I imagine this place is pretty cold because of all the rain. The eyes are still wonky. Okay. Okay, that's fixable for later. I'm not sure if I should change this placement. Frisk's kind of body just molds with the leg. Which, not what I want. I actually like that the text is over here. I don't know how to explain it. So, how do I explain it? Because, like, normally I would recommend having the character dialogue next to their face, especially if their expression is important. Not always, but, like, if you're wanting to show that expression and movement. But, a thing I'm kind of noticing when I'm reading this is I like go through it, and then when I get to this part where it's Chara saying all rain, because it like lines up, and like Chara is a brighter red color, like my eyes just kind of flick over to look at Chara, and then look back at Kris saying yes, all rain. So it's sort of like like that tiny movement that I normally never like. I don't think I've come across or think about too much. Like your eyes kind of flicking over to look at something and not needing the dialogue to actually be next to their face. But I think this works because it's on the same like plane right here of their eyes and face, and that's like a clear silhouette there of them like lifting their head to look over. Which I think that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Oh god, I don't have energy. Oh. Okay. Oh, I think I should end it in the stream soon. Right now. Let me show the comparison of the before and after. So let's do that. So, like, if you look at both of these pages, you can really see how much it really changed. Wow. Wow. Yeah, so, like, to compare, like a lot of these characters has been zoomed out and moved downwards, so they don't take up so much of the top area of their panels. So it feels like their body is more off the panel, and like there's more there that's not like feeling like it's put in there just so you can see it. So because there's no background elements besides the gradient, it gives more of that empty feeling that like pretty much emphasize what's already there instead of trying to make up for it. I do like this rearrangement because this worked for the sketch, it did not work for the update. It has a similar movement, but it's more condensed here. It's like you can really see that the moving the characters down with this panel here. Like there's this whole empty space while there's like barely any space here. Like you don't see any of that empty space up here. Like maybe a little bit right here on this final panel, but in the update here it's more obvious. I'm not sure if I should move this dialogue to the right more. No, I actually like it like right here because it feels like Kris is like a blockade. I like doing that, like making like specific parts of the character be like a separation for the dialogue. Like with Chara's horn, it like marks the side of their dialogue here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. Okay, boop. Thank you for watching! Yay, yay, yay! You made it to the end! Thank you. Wow, 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 wow.